Can you hear me? Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Not, especially not for them, for anybody. We're down to the count.
No. Leave it. It's okay.
Testing. It's up.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Just a reminder, please turn off your cell phones.
Of course, that doesn't apply to the people at home. No.
I'm Steve Baer, and I co-chair, along with John Gamson, on the Facilities Committee. This evening's service will be led by our own Rabbi Carla Friedman. Lighting the Shabbat candles tonight is a gal I've been privileged to know and share the past 57 years, Dahlia Baer. Barry Ross will carry the Torah. Roz Ross will dress the Torah. Tonight's Aliyah will be given to Marion Allen Sharkey. Marlene Spiegel will be the Gabbai. And are there any new members?
No.
I don't think so. But we have some guests. Charlie and Kathy Babin, Jacob Babin's parents, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for coming, and please come as often as you can. I think that's it. Rabbi, it's all yours.
Okay, then. You sure?
No, I'm positive.
Don't say positive. We're very nervous when people say positive. I've never spent so much time with people so pleased to be negative. It's a really weird thing. Well, we're going to begin as we regularly do, with an opportunity to set the cares of the world aside so that we can enter into the spirit and the moment of Shabbat. I'm going to ask you to put your back against the chair, get your feet on the floor, and close your eyes. And as you're doing that, I'd like you to close your eyes and take a deep, deep breath. Take a deep breath and hold it and let it go. And do that again. Take in a deep breath and hold it and let it go. And one more time. Take in a deep, deep breath and hold it and let it go. And as you're breathing normally, I'd like you to concentrate on what happens when you breathe. And you take in the air and you let it go, and it travels through your body and it finds the pockets of tension and stress from the week that has passed, and it carries that away as you breathe out. And so breathe in that capacity to search out the stress of the week and carry it away, and breathe out and away it goes. And do that one more time. Breathe in and feel the stress of the week dissipating as it leaves your body, and feel Shabbat taking its place, and open your eyes. Well, this Shabbat, we are once again having what we call a traditional style service, which means that we're going to do all the singing ourselves. And so you need to participate. I need you to participate. So we're going to start on page 128 in the prayer book. And before someone else decides to tell me this, I am going to tell you that when I offer you page numbers this evening, that will be the pages in the brackets, the numbers in the brackets at the bottom of the page. And if you want to know why we have two sets of numbers, talk to me privately and I'll explain this craziness to you. But we're on page 128 at the top of the page with a quotation from Psalm 133. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Yalalai, yalalai, yalalai. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Yalalai, yalalai, yalalai. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. That is one of the many melodies for Hine ma tov. And that one is, if I'm not mistaken, that's actually the dance melody, isn't it? Yeah. But there are lots of others. In any case, we're going to begin now with the lighting of the Shabbat candles on page 121 in the prayer book. So if you're wondering why we started on 128 and now we're going to 121, it's to confuse you that we do these things. Is it working? Yes, Janet? I said that already. Where were you? No, you weren't. No, nice try. No. Didn't I say brackets? Yeah, didn't I say the brackets at the bottom? With the, yeah. Full thing. I did the whole thing, yeah. Oh, well. Some days you know. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, I don't need my, oh yeah, I do have them on, okay. I forgot. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our day be among those who kindle light.
No, you need it here. You never know.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, asher kedishonu b'tzvotov v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. There we go. And we're going to continue with Kiddush, which is on page 123 in the prayer book, in the brackets. And it's also, of course, on the screen. And for those folks who are joining us from home tonight, we invite you to raise a glass of wine or grape juice if you are so inclined, and join us in Kiddush. Please rise here in the sanctuary. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila למקראי קודש, זכר לציית Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta, v'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-shabbat. L'chaim. And we continue on page 127, but the text is also on the screen. This is a responsive reading, and I will begin. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. And we're going to continue with Shalom Aleichem, which is on the screen and on page 142 if you are following in the prayer book. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim Akadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim Akadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim Akadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu. We continue on page 144 with Chatzi Kaddish, which of course is also on the screen. And Chatzi Kaddish tells us that we have come to the end of the introductory section of the service, and shortly we will begin the service proper. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imeru Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal Shmei dekudesha b'richu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'imeru. And that will bring us to the formal opening of the service with the call to worship. Please rise for the Barchu. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Baruch hu et Adonai hamivorach. Baruch Adonai hamivorach leolam va'ed. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. And we continue with the reading, which is on the screen and on page 149. Let's read together. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. And we'll continue on page 150 and on the screen with Ahavat Olam. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbeinu u'v'kumeinu נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני Ohev Amo Yisrael. Please rise for the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. And we're going to continue. This is going to be fun. We're going to continue on page 241. What a thing. Page 241. And let's read together. The good in us will win over all the wickedness, over all the wrongs we have done. We will look back at the pages of written history and be amazed, and then we will laugh and sing, and the good in us, children their cradles, will have won. Our hearts beat with certainty that there is a day and an hour and a mountain called Zion, and that all of the sufferings will gather there and become song, ringing out into every corner of the earth from end to end. And the nations will hear it, and like the caravans in the desert, will all to that morning throng. And now we turn back to page 158. This was so that you could have a tour of the prayer book, if you're using a prayer book. And we're going to sing Michamocha. Yabba ba bim bim bum, yabba ba ba bim bum, yabba ba bim bim bum, yabba ba ba bim bum, ay 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 ay, yabba ba ba bim bum, ay 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 ay, yabba ba ba bim bum. Mihi chamocha bailim Adonai, mihi kamocha nedar bakodesh, nora tehilot O Seifel, Nora Tehilot, O Seifel, Malchutecha Ra'u Vanecha, Bokei Ayam Lifnei Moshe uMiriam, Ze'eli, Anu Ve'amru, Adonai Imloch Leolam Va'edi, Yabab Bim Bim Pam, Yabab Bim bum, yabab bim bim bum, yabab bim bum, ay 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 ay, yabab bim bum, ay 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 ay, yabab bim bum. V'nemar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov u'ga'alo miyad chazak mimenu, baruch ata Adonai ga'al Yisrael. And we're going to continue with Hashkivenu, which is on page 160 if you're looking in the prayer book. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu Lechaim. And we read together. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace, and raise us up our guardian to life renewed, Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming, to life and to peace evermore. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. The text we're going to read now, which is on page 162 in the prayer book, is the translation of Yismechu. So momentarily we will sing Yismechu, and then you will know what we are singing. And we read it together. Those who keep Shabbat by calling it a delight will rejoice in your realm. The people that hallow Shabbat will delight in your goodness, for being pleased with the seventh day, you hallowed it as the most precious of days, drawing our attention to the work of creation. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei, Mekadeshei Shevi Shabbat. Kulam yisbu v'yitangu mituvecha Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi'i ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat. Chemdat yamim oto karata Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Zecher l'maseh v'reishit Shabbat. Zecher l'maseh v'reishit Shabbat. Big finish now. Yismechu v'malachutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismechu v'malachutecha. Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. We're going to continue now with the Amidah, the central prayer of every Jewish worship service. If you are following in the prayer book, it begins on page 162. And if you are going to follow on screen, you will find that all the things we're doing are going to be on the screen. Please rise for the Amidah. Adonai, sifatai tiftach, ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, sifatai tiftach, ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, sifatai tiftach, ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, sifatai tiftach, ufi yagi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chazdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Ata gibor leolam Adonai, Mechaye hakol ata, Rav lehoshia, Morid hatal. Mechalkel chaim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido mehelach, Melech meimit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atal hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, Ukdoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We are now on page 173. And we read together. Disturb us, Adonai, ruffle us from our complacency, make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness, and the poverty, physical and spiritual, of humans. Shock us, Adonai, deny to us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears. Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. And we continue on page 174 with Ritzei. Ritzei, Ritzei, Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amecha Yisrael utefilatam be'ahava tekabel utehi leratzon tamid utehi leratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha el karov lechol korav el karov lechol korav Pnei el avadecha v'choneinu shefoch ruchacha aleinu v'techezena eineinu b'shuvecha letzion berachamim Baruch atah Adonai hamachazir shechinato letzion hamachazir shechinato letzion. We're going to continue on page 257 if you are following in the prayer book. The text is on the screen, and I want to say a word or two before we begin this. This is the section of the service which is called Hoda'ah, meaning thanks, the opportunity to express gratitude. And the Hebrew phrase, which forms the refrain that you will be reading after each of these verses, is Modim anachnu lach. We thank you. It's very straightforward. Modim anachnu lach. So that's in the lovely script, which you can see in English, and the Hebrew is there, and you get to pick which one you're going to read. It's the same. It doesn't really matter which language you do it in. So that's your part, and we're going to offer our thanks. For the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations, Modim anachnu lach. For the fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons, Modim anachnu lach. For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements, Modim anachnu lach. For human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression, Modim anachnu lach. For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared, Modim anachnu lach. For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom, Modim anachnu lach. for human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose, modim anachnu lach. We pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulecha na'eh lehodot. And we continue now on page 178, or on the screen, with Shalom Rav. Every recitation of the Amidah, the central prayer of Jewish worship, and it's done traditionally 3 times a day. Every time we do it, it concludes with prayers for peace, and this is the evening text for the prayer for peace. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol eit u'v'chol sha'a bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael amcha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Please take this opportunity to pray privately. The text is on the screen, and it is also on page 180 in the prayer book. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, imru, amen. We're going going to continue now with Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of the Torah, which will begin on page 362. And so I invite you to turn to page 362. And of course, all of the texts will be on the screen as well. Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kemasecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim umemshaltecha bechol dor v'ador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed Adonai oz le'amo yitein Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom av harachamim Heitiva virtzonecha et Zion Tivne chomot Yerushalayim Tivne chomot Yerushalayim Ki v'cha levad batachnu melech elam v'nisa adon olamim. Havu godol Eloheinu tenu chavod laTorah. Let us declare the greatness of our God and give honor to the Torah. Ki mitzion teitze Torah, Ki mitzion teitze Torah, Udevar Adonai miYerushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael, b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadlu l'Adonai iti, uneromema shemo yachdav. So Barry is going to carry the Torah scroll out and around and back, and instead of reaching out and touching it, we're going to ask you instead to put your hand over your heart as it goes by, and that way it will come back without any more things attached to it. Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagivura v'hatiferet v'hanetzach v'hahod ki chol v'shamayim uva'aretz ki chol v'shamayim uva'aretz Lecha Adonai hamamlacha v'yamit na'aseh lechol rosh Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodsho Ki Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu vehishtachavu. That's too far. Lehar kodsho. Yes, there we are. Thank you. Easy, huh? So, yes, we are making, oh my God. You could lose a toe with that. Yeah. We are distributing chumashim. If you would like a chumash, would you please put your hand up so that you can follow the reading in the chumash. Anybody else for a chumash? Joan, relax. We don't have that many takers. Well, for those of you enthusiasts who are following the reading, the reading this evening is from Deuteronomy chapter 1. It starts on page 1161, and we will be reading verses 1 through 8 on 1161 and 1162. So let me say a few things about Deuteronomy before we begin. Deuteronomy is, and has been for a very long time, the fifth book of the Hebrew Bible, following Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers. And if you've been paying attention as we slogged our way through the book of Numbers recently, you will remember that Miriam died early in that book, relatively early, and then Aaron, her brother, died in that book. And in fact, towards the very end of the book, God reminds Moses that he's not going to cross into the promised land either, neither he nor Aaron nor Miriam, not going, because they were part of the generation that made the original Exodus, and none of that generation except for Joshua and Caleb, and that's a separate story, but only those two would go across into the promised land. All the rest of that generation would die in the wilderness, and so leadership would be transferred to Joshua. And the book of Numbers, it comes to an end talking about the transfer of leadership from Moses to Joshua. And it feels like, at least it does to me, and I'm certainly not alone in this, I know, it feels like the death of Moses should come there. And scholars tell us that originally it did follow the transfer of leadership from Moses to Joshua, and then Moses died. And the story of the death of Moses is now the last chapter in the book of Deuteronomy. But our scholars tell us that originally there were really only 4 books in Torah, and the death of Moses was at the end of the 4th book. But in the year 622, apparently, there was a discovery in the temple in Jerusalem of a book, or a scroll, actually, which contained pretty much what we have today in the book of Deuteronomy. And scholars believe that this is the original text of Deuteronomy. We don't have that scroll anymore, but we have what is understood to have been on that scroll, and it constitutes what is now the book of Deuteronomy, the last book of Torah. In the reason that the death of Moses had to be taken from the end of the book of Numbers and tacked on to the end of Deuteronomy is that Deuteronomy presents itself as a series of 3 speeches, long speeches, mind you, that Moses gives before he dies. So you can't have Moses die at the end of Numbers and then have him give 3 long speeches in Deuteronomy. That just wouldn't be acceptable. No. So apparently without any hesitation, somebody said, well, we'll just move that. And they tacked it on to the back of Deuteronomy, and now we have the death of Moses at the end of Deuteronomy, following the 3 speeches. Now, the name of this book in Hebrew is Devarim, and Devarim is the first significant word in the first verse of this book. All of the Hebrew names of the books of Torah are taken from the first significant word in each of the books. And Devarim means either words or things. And the first verse says, these are the things, or the words, that Moses said before they crossed the Jordan River, something close to that. And so in Hebrew, this book is referred to as Devarim. In English, it's called Deuteronomy, which is not an English word at all. It's a Greek word, and it means, deutero means second, and nomos means law. So it is understood that Deuteronomy is a retelling of a lot of the laws that are given to us earlier in the Torah. And the point seems to be that Moses is reminding the Israelites of all that they have experienced, starting out with slavery in Egypt and crossing the wilderness and coming to Mount Sinai and what went on at Mount Sinai. And so the 10 Commandments are repeated in Deuteronomy. And then all the other laws, or at least a lot of them, are recapitulated in the 3 speeches that Moses gives. And he concludes with a speech which basically says, don't forget what I've told you now. And that's not a bad way to end, I think. But it takes us from now until Simchat Torah to get through the book of Deuteronomy. So we'll be at this for a while. So Deuteronomy has a couple of features that I want to mention. One is this business of the repetition of laws that have already been given, and especially the 10 Commandments. But there are lots of occasions, and the 10 Commandments is one of them, where the repetition is not exact, it's not precise, it's not the words that we heard the last time, and there are some interesting differences between the version of the 10 Commandments in Exodus and the version given in Deuteronomy. And it raises a lot of questions. Does God, who is ostensibly giving this to Moses, not remember what God said in Exodus? Why are there differences? So if you want to lie awake at night and worry about that, let me know. I've given that one up for a while now. So that's one of the interesting things about Deuteronomy. But another one that's really important is a theme that occurs in Deuteronomy, which is that religious practice is going to be centralized when the laws of Deuteronomy are put in place, when the Israelites are resident in the Promised Land. What happens until that moment, now let me go back a bit and remind you that Deuteronomy, the text, is reputed to have been discovered in the year 622. The Exodus from Egypt happened somewhere around the year 1200, 1250 BCE. We're talking a long stretch of time, 600 years, right? And so there were practices that the people engaged in the first 600 years that are canceled, essentially, when the book of Deuteronomy takes precedence over them. The most critical one is this. Up until the establishment via Deuteronomy, the Israelites offered sacrifices wherever they happened to be living. In any location that they lived, they could have a sacred location. It might be on a hillside. It might be under a particularly beautiful leafy tree, wherever. But that was their sacred location where they built an altar and they sacrificed animals. And the important thing to remember is that while they were doing it that way, sacrificing wherever they happened to live, that made meat available to them wherever they happened to live. Eating meat in antiquity was not anywhere near as common as it is today. And so it was an important thing that there was a provision for the people to eat meat. And they recognized that they were taking a life in preparing that meat for themselves. So they compensated, if you will, for that through ritual practices and acknowledging that this was a sacrifice on the part of the animal, if not on the part of the owner of the animal. But along comes Deuteronomy, 600 years after the entrance into Canaan, and it says, no, you can't do that anymore. And it says in Deuteronomy over and over and over again that the only place where you can do these things is the place, and this is the phrase that gets used, the place where God will cause the divine name to dwell. And it says in Deuteronomy that it will be within one of your tribes. So the tribes have land assigned to them when they come into Canaan, and one of the tribes will house the place where God will cause the divine name to dwell. And that's code language. You and I are supposed to know what the code means. The code, don't tell anybody, okay? I'm going to tell you what the code means, but if I tell you and you tell someone else, I'm in big trouble, so don't do that. The code means the temple in Jerusalem. So why does it have to be done in code? Because the temple in Jerusalem was not built until around the year 930 BCE. This text is dated to 1200 BCE. Didn't know about Jerusalem, didn't know about the temple in Jerusalem, right? Right? Right. Of course it's right. So what did they do? Well, they said, it will be in the place that God will choose. Wink, wink. So it's there, the wink isn't given, but you will understand that from now till the end of Deuteronomy, that there is a wink and a nod in all of that, because it is claiming that the book of Deuteronomy was written at the time of the Exodus and revealed to Moses perhaps, and is not able to identify by name the place where the divine name will dwell. But we know that it's Jerusalem, and we know that it's the temple in Jerusalem. So religion is centralized by the discovery of that book in the temple in Jerusalem around the year 622. And all of those altars, all over Judea and Israel in the north, all of those altars are suddenly out of business. And if you want to bring an offering, you have to bring it to the place where God will cause the divine name to dwell. Jerusalem, right? What this also means, however, is that people would not be able to eat meat unless they brought it to Jerusalem. So in the book of Deuteronomy, they are given permission to slaughter animals for food. And that didn't happen until the ability to offer the sacrifice locally became passé, done, no more of that. So people didn't offer sacrifices for food after that time. People may very well have eaten meat, but not via the offering of a sacrifice in the place where the divine name dwelled. And they did bring offerings to the temple in Jerusalem, but really not all the time. If you lived in Haifa and you had to walk south in Israel to get to Jerusalem, it could take you a while. And the animal that you're bringing along with you for sacrificial purposes is not going to be unblemished when it gets there, so it won't be qualified. So if the purpose of bringing the animal is for the purpose of just eating, now you are entitled to slaughter animals wherever you happen to live, and you can eat the meat that way. And sacrifices for ritual purposes, that's another story. So that is a theme that runs through the book of Deuteronomy, the theme of the centralization of worship in the place that God will cause the divine name to dwell. And we all understand that that actually is the temple in Jerusalem. And the people who found the scroll in the temple in Jerusalem understood that it must have been very, very old because it didn't know the name of the town. So whoever created that did a good job, right? And we're not going to tell, no, wouldn't tell anyone, right? Good. Okay, well, I think that's enough said about Deuteronomy. But I do want to say a couple of other things. One other thing is that in Deuteronomy there's a great emphasis on looking after the disadvantaged people amongst you. And so that is the widow and the orphan and the stranger who is within your gates. And there is tremendous emphasis on providing for the poor. And there is tremendous emphasis on ethical commandments, especially when we get to the section that we read on Yom Kippur morning, which tells us that we are supposed to make choices that will be life-enhancing and life-giving. So Deuteronomy has a very uplifting quality to it as well. So we'll get through all of that, and at the end of Deuteronomy, we'll have a quiz. Page are we on? Well, we're still on page 1161. I think I'll put this over here for now because rolling the scroll is tricky. Names.
Up here?
Yes. Ya'amod Avram ben Yosef v'Sara levarech al haTorah, ta'amod mina bat Shil malka levarech al haTorah. Let's just keep this over here. Well, what's the last word in verse 8? Because there's no paragraph break. Hang on 1 minute.
He said.
No, verse 8. I need the last word. After the Bacharech. Okay, got it. Well, so here you can see that we are starting Deuteronomy. See, isn't that? That's where we're starting. So, okay. So first you have to touch over here with the tzitzit. Mm-hmm. Okay, now we roll it back. 1, 2, 3.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch v'shmo.
noten haTorah.
Amen. Okay, Marion, hold that open, please. Oh, no, don't do that. You could stand over here. Move over here. Don't do that. No, don't do that. No. Ela hadvarim asher diber Moshe el kol Yisrael be'ever hayarden b'midbar ba'arava mulsuf ben Paran uven Tofel v'Lavan v'chatzerot v'dizahav 11 yom mechorev derech har Seir ad Kadesh Barnea v'hi ba'arba'im shana ba'ashtei asar chodesh באחד לחודש דיבר משה אל בני ישראל ככל אשר ציווה אדוני אותו עליהם אחרי הכותו את סיחון מלך האמורי אשר יושב בחשבון ואת אוג מלך הבשן אשר יושב באשתרות באדראי בעבר הירדן בארץ מואב הואיל משה באר את התורה הזאת לאמור אדוני אלוהינו דיבר אלינו בחורב לאמור רב לכם שבט בהר הזה פנו וסעו לכם ובואו הר האמורי ואל כל שכניו בערבה, בהר ובשפלה, ובנגב ובחוף הים, ארץ הכנעני והלבנון, עד הנהר הגדול, נהר פרת. ראה נתתי לפניכם את הארץ הזאת, ורשו את הארץ אשר נשבע אדוני לאבותיכם, לאברהם, ליצחק וליעקב, לתת להם ולזרעם אחריהם. I will now translate. No, wait. I'll translate and then you can do the other.
Oh,
Okay?
Okay. That's fine.
Is that okay with
Yeah.
that? Oh, okay. Would that be all right with you?
I concur.
No, okay, good. This is a tough room sometimes. These are the words which Moses spoke to all of Israel across the Jordan in the wilderness of the Arava, opposite Suf, between Paran and Tophel, and Lavan and Chatzerot and Di-Zahav. 11 days from Horeb by way of Mount Seir up to Kadesh Barnea. And it was in the 40th year, in the 11th month, on the first day of the month, that Moses spoke to the Israelites all that Adonai had commanded him for them or concerning them. After they had struck Sichon, the king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon, and they also struck Og, the king of Heshbon, who dwelt in Ashtarot at Edrei, across the Jordan, in the land of Moab. Moses began to expound, yes, there's that word, expound this instruction, saying, Adonai our God spoke to us at Horeb, which is what Deuteronomy calls Sinai, saying, it's enough that you have dwelt at this mountain. Turn and travel you and go to the mountain of the Amorites and all of its neighboring towns in the wilderness, in the towns in the mountain, the hills or the mountains, and the low country, and in the south, the Negev, and at the seashore, it is the land of the Canaanite, and the land called Lebanon, all the way up to the great river, which is the river Euphrates. See, I have set before you this land. Go and possess it, possess the land which Adonai swore to your ancestors, to Abraham, to Isaac, and Jacob, to give to them and to their descendants after them.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shmo.
notein haTorah.
Amen. Now for you we have a blessing. Don't go away.
Thank you.
Just watch the scroll for a moment. It seems to be rolling a little.
It's heavy on this side.
Yes, it is. Yes. Fortunately, he's right-handed. So we know what happens when you're not. I have to find your names again now. מי שבירך אבותינו ואימותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה רבקה רחל ולאה, הוא יברך את אברהם בן יוסף ושרה, בעבור שעלה לכבוד המקום ולכבוד התורה. בשכר זה הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמרהו ויצילהו מכל צרה וצוקה ומכל נגע ומחלה, וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיו עם כל ישראל, ונאמר, מי שברך אבותינו ואימותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה רבקה רחל ולאה, הוא יברך את מינה בת שיה ומלכה בעבור שעלתה לכבוד המקום ולכבוד התורה. בשכר זה הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמריה ויציליה מכל צרה וצוקה ומכל נגע ומחלה, וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיה עם כל ישראל, ונאמר, May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless Alan and Marion, since they have come up to the Torah in honor of God and Torah. May they merit from the Holy One of blessing, protection, rescue from any trouble or distress, and from any illness, minor or serious, including falling down the elevator. May God send blessing and success in their every endeavor, and together with all Israel we say, you're welcome. We're doing that. Don't roll. And we're going to offer blessings for the sick. We will begin with our little refrain, and then I will read the list and give you an opportunity to offer blessings or prayers privately, and then we'll conclude with our little refrain. So, El na refana la, El na refana la, El na refana la, Refuah shelema. This Shabbat we are offering prayers for the following congregants: Beverly Adler, Delise Axon, Ed Birkin, Robert Berg, Elaine Bialer, Barry Brown, Andrea Chasen, Freda Cohen, Marion Fink, Batsheva Sarah Gamaran, Nancy Goodstein, Marcia Katz, Verdna Kelly, Robin Kitzmiller, Joan Kramer, Rochelle Lafer, Marlis Markovitz, Bonnie Meyer, Amy Mogil, Steve Morris, Paula Newberger, Fanny Reese, Barry Ross, Jacqueline Schindler, Mark Schoenholtz, Brenda Shapiro, Roz Shapiro, Simone Shaw, Francis Sheff, Joe Sheff, Norman Toff, Ruth Turchin, Eugene Udwin, Leslie Zwain, Amit Ben Shirley, Ariel Bat Rivka, Ariella Bat Shoshana, Chana Pesa Bat Golda, Chaya Esther Bat Chana, Dvorah Bat Ruth, Esther Badana Bat Shena Malka, Henya Rachel Bat Sarah, Heshleb Ben Devorah, Yosef Shmuel Ben Bertha, Manya Bat Fredel, Masha Bat Esther, Menachem Ben Frima, Mindele Bat Frima, Mordechai Ben Sarah, Moshe Hersh Ben Rivka, Pesach Lev Ben Sarah, Shena Bracha Bat Yehudit, Shirley Bat Sarah, Shulamit Bat Zilla, Cyril Reza Bat Esther, Velvel Ben Hindabela, and Yonatan Ben Chasya. Now I'm going to ask you to take the next few moments to offer prayers for the people who are on your personal prayer list. Take the next few moments to think about them, and as you do, articulate their names silently. Refana, El na refana la, El na refana la, Refuah shelema. Now, this being the first Shabbat of the month, that means it's the Shabbat on which we offer special blessings for people celebrating birthdays or anniversaries in the month of August. So we'll do birthdays first. Are there people here who have birthdays in the month of August? Steve, don't go too far. No, I don't see any birthdays in the month of August.
I think anniversaries is going to get us.
You think anniversaries is big? I see. Uh-huh. Well, we'll find that out now. Of course, I could say that my older daughter's birthday is in August, but that's not really relevant. So do we have any anniversaries in the month of August? Look at this. Oh, well, okay. So, Janet, you have an anniversary in the month of August?
Yes, it was on Tuesday.
Oh, you have to go to the mic. Yes, I'm sorry about that. You have to go to the mic. Yes. Here. Here, give it to me.
Do you have an idea how to work that?
Yeah, I do. There. Yes. Janet, turn and face the people. Don't go far. Don't go far. Janet, no, right over here. You're good. You're good. So your anniversary was when?
It was on Tuesday, the 2nd.
No, you have to.
It was on Tuesday, the 2nd.
The 2nd of August.
Yes.
Okay, very good. And what number was it actually?
53.
53. And does your husband have an anniversary this month as well?
Yes, he should.
He should. Yes, but does he?
Yes.
On the 2nd of August?
Yes.
Just a guess on my part, yeah?
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Also 53 years?
Yes.
Wonderful. Isn't it lovely when it works out that way?
Yes.
Does he know you're here tonight telling us about this?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
Yes.
because we're all going to phone him and say happy anniversary, right? Okay. Okay. Well, mazel tov to you. 53 years. Wow. Okay. Carol and Bernie, you have to come up. That's the way the game is played now. What did he say? Give us. Oh, no.
As usual, I'm taking orders. August 18th is our anniversary.
August 18th is your anniversary, and yours too, Carol? Great. And yes, and what number will this be?
How many years we've been married?
54.
54.
All of them happy.
All of them happy.
Wait,
That's why I'm going to keep him.
There had to be a reason. So 54 years, okay. And how long have you lived in Sun City Center?
9.
9 years?
9 years.
Okay.
Came right after you did.
Ah, okay. So, well, we'll have to think about that. And have you celebrated your anniversary in some unusual places over the years, or?
Nope.
Okay, then. I think I'll go home and go to bed now.
See, that was easy.
Yeah. Carol, how about you? Have you celebrated any place interesting?
They've all been unusual.
Thanks, I think.
Yeah, okay. All right, so just a minute. Janet, I need you to come back. Not going to get off so easily. So, Janet, have you celebrated your anniversary anywhere interesting in all these years?
Yes, we were once in Paris. We were once in Paris.
Wow.
Yes, it was very nice.
Was that a special one? A special number?
25th.
What?
Our 25th.
Your 25th, very nice.
Yes.
Very nice. Paris, very good.
Yeah.
Okay, it beats them. They don't go anywhere.
Yes,
We've been married longer.
Yeah, that's true, yeah, by a whole year. Janet, in all these years and that you've been having these anniversaries, do you have any memories of any special celebrations for the anniversaries?
Well, that was
Paris, yes, I know.
That was pretty nice. And our kids sent champagne and roses.
Oh, how lovely. Very nice.
So that was really nice.
So you'll keep them too, huh?
Yes.
Yes. So, and you haven't been anywhere special, or have there been any special celebrations?
Several of them when one or the other of us was in the hospital.
Could you say that into the microphone, please? I'm sorry to say.
We had several of them where one or the other of us was in the hospital.
Yes, you do that a lot. You take turns. Yes. But you're both here and seemingly relatively healthy.
Yeah, we're both upright.
Upright, yes. Well, I'm going to take that as a good omen for the coming year. Okay? Well, for you who have anniversaries this month, we have...
I have an anniversary.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't see you, Don. I thought you were in the closet.
No, I came out of the closet.
Oh, that's what I look like. Oh.
Yes. So, Donna, when is your anniversary?
Our anniversary is August 23rd.
August 23rd?
Yes, we will be married 28 years.
And Rich also has the anniversary?
Rick.
Yes, this
Yes.
month.
Yes, he does.
Does he know that?
Yes, he does.
And-
Yes, he does. And he'll buy me a sandwich on our anniversary. With a card. Yeah, not card. What are you kidding?
Not a card. Why would you have a card?
Yeah, card. Oh.
He'll hand it to you. You'll know who it's from, right?
Yes. He'll go out. He'll go to the clubhouse. He'll buy me a sandwich. And
No,
I'll
no,
come
no.
out.
I heard he's going to go to Wawa this year.
Maybe he'll go to Wawa.
Yes.
Yes.
If he's living big.
If he's-
He'll
yes.
leave the reservation.
If he wants to splurge for the gas,
Ah,
he'll go to Wawa.
well, he'll be going there to buy the gas, so, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, we've covered that then.
Yes.
Have you had any special anniversaries, celebrations?
We used to celebrate in Maui.
Really?
Yes, and then my mother decided she would not babysit dogs anymore, and there went Maui.
They don't take dogs
No,
in
they
Maui?
do not 3 beagles at a time. No,
No, I see.
no. So
Okay, so Maui, that was pretty good,
It
though.
was.
Yes.
It was
And how long has it been since you've been to Maui for your anniversary?
1998. It's been a few years, just a few years.
Yeah, that kind
That's
of
all right.
petered out quickly. I
Yeah.
see, yes.
Yeah.
So
That's all
since
right.
then, nothing special?
Nothing spectacular. No.
Okay. So should we be letting your husband know that he should do something special this year?
Oh, he won't. He won't. You can talk to him until you're blue in the face. It doesn't
No, that's
matter.
your job. You married him.
Yes, that's what my mother used to say. Yes,
Right.
you married him.
Yeah. So, we'll just let that go then. Okay? So, is it okay with you now if I do the...
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is the special blessing for people with anniversaries. Misha berach avotenu Avram Yitzchak v'Yaakov v'imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. May God, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless all of these folks who are here today with gratitude for all the blessings of their many years together, which have afforded them interesting or not anniversaries. May the Holy One of Blessing protect and deliver them. May they continue to enjoy God's blessing in the new song of their years to come, embraced by the love of their children. Children? Do you have children? Yes? Do you have grandchildren? No grandchildren. You have grandchildren. So you have something to look forward to. Maybe. Maybe. Okay. And great-grandchildren? What a headache that would be if you get there without the children. And no. Okay. So, so that you may always live in joy and gladness, in peace and companionship. And so all together we're going to say, Amen. Thank you. Thank you. To where? Okay then. We are going to lift the Torah scroll, hopefully, to lift the Torah scroll and dress it to return it to the ark. Please rise. Good luck, Barry. Wait. All right, now. And we are going to continue on page 374. Yahalalu et Shem Adonai ki nizgav shemo levado. Hodo al eretz v'shamayim vayarem keren le'amo tehila lechol chasidav Livnei Israel am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Eitz chaim hi lamachzikim ba v'tomcheha דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיה שלום. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש חדש ימינו חדש ימינו כקדם. Please remain standing and turn to page 586 in the prayer book for the Aleinu. The text is on the screen. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו. וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. We read together, may we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. And we continue now on page 597. The text is on the screen, and we read together. Our thoughts turn now to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. This Shabbat, the congregation is remembering Sylvia Augenstein, mother of Jay Augenstein, Sid Bergman, husband of Shirley Bergman, Edward LaPointe, father of Diane Berthold, Morris Stoldowski, father of Lee Danzig, Minnie Miller, mother-in-law of Gary Natbunny, Shirley Shostak, mother of Ronald Neuberger, Milton Paper, father of Gloria Rubin, Joseph Levine, family of Sandy Goldstein, Samuel Weiser, father of Betty Scher, Norman Steloff, father of Deborah Schwamm, Bernard Tan, father of Sherry Tan, Max Zack, father of Lee Zack, Yetta Armel, Leo Stein, John Mogul, and Saul Fishman, and we are counting Shloshim for congregant Anne Graff and for Phyllis Woodleaf, the sister of congregant Robert Berg. Kaddish will be on the screen, and it's on page 598 in the book. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, B'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayeichon u'v'yameichon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'halal shmei dekudsha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromav huyase shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Please be seated. The high point of every Friday evening service now is the announcements. And Steve, I'm here for you, Steve. I'm your gabbai, Steve.
Thank you, Brother.
Oh, of course. What? Steve, you can take your mask off. Steve, you can take your mask
Oh,
off.
yes.
Yeah.
Did you all enjoy the
Don't ask.
service
Don't
tonight?
ask.
Well, Rabbi, thank you, and thank our tech team for
Oh,
providing
yes.
us with a wonderful service. I know we went through the motion with the birthdays and anniversaries, but are there any other simchas? I didn't think so.
We've covered everything. Keep going.
Okay. Now for the announcements. Monday, August 8th, Temple Executive Board meeting, 11 to 12 on Zoom. Tuesday, August 9th, 1:30 to 3, continuing Hebrew followed by Biblical Hebrew Grammar, 3 to 4:30, also on Zoom. Wednesday, August 10th, Men's Club Board meeting, 10 to 12, in person. Thursday, August 11th, Biblical Hebrew Grammar, 1:30 to 3, followed by Bible study, the Bible Now, from 3 to 4:30 on Zoom.
Yep.
Hope to see you back here next Friday for Shabbat services, live streamed and in person. Saturday, August 13th at 10 a.m., Shabbat services in person, 11:30 to 12, a short lunch, 12 to 1:30, Torah study, in person and on Zoom. Please join us for a really enjoyable learning experience. Thanks to Rabbi Carla. Just a few more announcements, I promise.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank Barry Ross and member congregant Beverly Adler, whose son, Andrew Adler, helped with the installation of the latest memorial board that's right back there, donated by Robin Kitzmiller in memory of her father, Louis Einhorn.
Yes.
Oh. And John, I know you're looking at us from up above down there now, but bad back and all, I know you know it's not my way, but I can't help it. You and Delia work like little beavers, so thank you. If you would like to place a High Holy Day greetings in the next Shalom News, please submit your greeting and check to Joanne Sudman by August 15th. Please refer to your current Shalom News for information. And tonight's Oneg is sponsored by Judy and Stan Zarofsky in honor of Judy's birthday. This will
Aha.
be a to-go, on-the-go Oneg. One more. This is a reminder of upcoming event, the new and prospective member luncheon. Beth Israel Congregation's Board of Directors is sponsoring a luncheon to recognize new and prospective members. New members are congregants who have joined since January 2020, and have not been formally recognized earlier due to the COVID constraints. And this is happening Sunday, August 14th, 2022 at 1 p.m.
Here,
That's about-
here,
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
yeah,
here, yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Steve. And wait, you're walking off with my script.
Oh.
No, don't do that.
I put mine on
We'll
top
be,
of yours.
I know,
I
but
don't want-
but now you're taking the back page. Don't do that
Oh.
either. We'll be here till Purim if I don't have a script. Well, the script says that we are going to conclude the service with the singing of Adon Olam, which I think is going to be on the screen. And yes, there it is. We're just going to sing this, right? You know Adon Olam, right? Everybody knows this? Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'et nasa b'chefzo kol azai melech shemo nikra v'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora V'hu haya, v'hu hoveh, v'hu yihye b'tifara. Now, when we flip to the next, skip the repeat of Adon Olam and just go to the next verse. V'hu echad v'ein sheni, lehamshil lo lehachbira, b'li reishit, b'li tachlit, v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra, v'hu li v'chai go'ali, v'tzur chevli b'yetzahara, v'hu nisi umanos li, menat kosi b'yom ekra, b'yado afkid ruchi, Be'et ishan v'ya'ira ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li v'lo ira. Adonai is mine, is with me. Adonai li v'lo ira. I shall not fear. Shabbat shalom also to the folks at home. I hope the folks at home have a lovely Oneg Shabbat to enjoy at home. For those of you in the sanctuary, please bring the Chumashim to the back if you have not yet, and pick up an Oneg to go at the door. Thank you all for being here. Shabbat Shalom.